Welcome to Chess Concepts for Intermediates. I did not get to 1300 all by myself, or even bigger than that. I needed chess concepts to help me make better decisions during the game. But let's just dive into the game then. It's a d4 opening. Also, put your knights first before bishops. Bishop g5 is theory. It goes for the queen, but he sees it. Goes back and knights develop, and castle. Yes, you can go castle long, you can play e3 and bishop d3, but I castle long and I go for a fun one. When kings are castled on the opposite side, someone might just lose, because in these lines you usually start an attack, or it's just a balanced game, but yes. c5, trying to open up on this side. If he opens up this side, he gets the rook in. So I go knight b5, trying to get the bishop. It's not the best, but it has an idea in mind, because this bishop is quite strong. And if I get rid of this bishop is now blocked and not so strong. But that happens. I do like that. But black is better here. Why is black better here? Because black has a dominance in the center. Dominance in the center, so I can play e5 and just remove my oxygen in the position. He plays knight c6. Also, you should not take with the queen, because there is a tempo, where black can gain tempo by attacking your higher valued piece with a lower valued one. Queen g4 here is trying to be active with the queen, but actually it runs into e5 and the bishop is looking at the queen. Do I save the queen? Do I see that the bishop is attacking the queen, or do I play e3? I play queen a4. Excellent stuff here. I see that the queen is hanging, so I move it, not losing the game on the spot. e4 is a very aggressive move, aggressive move because it attacks the knight. But here, it's very, very tricky to find why this move, why knight d4 is a mistake, because I calculated takes and takes. That's right. But when a pawn moves, you have to look at where the queen could go next, when the pawn moved. When the pawn moved, it opened up the queen's vision. So how do you do this? How do you restrict your opponent from giving you forks? I mean, the knight is hanging and I have to move it, right? Actually, no. You see now, you have to practice this. It took me a long time before I saw forks as well. But you have to practice after e5, e4. What is he threatening? What is now different? I mean, okay, yes. Everyone could see there. So now the queens is there. You just look at the diagonals, visualize them. Okay, there is a this. And after the queen could move to a square, where does it move there? Now this looks now there, and that's a fork. But there's danger levels. You can attack the opponent's more valued piece with a piece that is currently hanging, which is bishop g3. It attacks the queen, and then you move the knight. All safe and sound. And if you have time in a position, let's say you took with the knight, and he plays knight here, you can play king b1. King b1 is a very useful move that steps away from these checks. Also a very good concept to make your life simpler. But I blunder the bishop as he sees the fork. He sees the check, I didn't, and there it is. I play f4 here, just trying to develop pieces. If he takes, I'm hoping that he takes en passant and loses the queen. Unfortunately, he knows that en passant enforced, let's be honest here, we are not playing this for fun, we're trying to improve. We're definitely not having fun here, as we run into a fork, queen e1 is threatened, but I do play the best move, g3, another danger levels, cutting the queen's vision, and if takes, then I hope that I win the queen. But sadly, he knows that he's not a Bodes Gambiter. Rook back to d2. The rook was hanging. Now I guard this file. Queen f3. He's fighting back really nicely, threatening this and this. There is rook g1. Rook g1. Since the rook is the only one that can move. But there's also bishop c4, trying to perhaps trick your opponent to take, because do you take here with the knight? Do you take here? It's not checkers though. You can move the king. Because if you take, the knight was worth more than the bishop actually. The knight was worth more because this knight is literally the beast. That's the right piece to have on that square. Because now if you give it away, now there's the doubling of rooks, and you have 3 pieces in the back rank. That's why. That's why it's conceptually better. But I hang the bishop. Literally play all stockfish moves and then hang the bishop. And yeah. So yes, I was down 5 minutes. I thought for 2 minutes about this move. I thought 2 minutes about this move. And I don't know what I thought about here. Because you do look for checks. You can look for this check. But don't hang your pieces. Because try to look at your opponent's pieces. I tried to develop and attack the queen. I forgot. So yep. Good check. I double the rooks. Now I play rook d8. I'm hoping for knight takes and mate. A lot of tricks here. A lot of tricks here. But sadly, he plays queen takes d1. I have to take with the rook, and he takes the queen. And this is completely winning plus 11. But actually, no. He thinks for a second here and takes the rook. Like, guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Why are we thinking a second here? Why are we thinking a second here? Are you trying to flag me? Like, even 1900s do this. I get this every day in my games. People are up on time on 5 minutes and they literally don't find the quickest win. They just try to flag me and it all backfires as I have more chances to win or draw. So here it happens. The king comes forward. Now the concept normally is that the king is safe and the back rank. But if you go to c1, what's the problem? What's the problem? There is no checkmate. There's no back rank mate. Yo, 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 yo. How does he activate pieces? What is his plan? You have to look at his plan here. He could only move the bishop out. And then when it goes, you have to look at this, it looks there. You have to look at this, it looks there. Doesn't work. You have to look at this, very passive. You have to look at this. Oh, but that is a right diagonal for a mate. Bishop g4, you cannot really stop it. You have to give up the open file, and I guess, actually, wait, what? Oh, you have to, yeah. You have to use your assets. You have to use your assets here. You don't just develop pieces. You have to look at your assets. What is the hanging stuff here? You can look e3 then. And this pawn is unstoppable. That's the win. That's the quickest win. But put king on e2. I accidentally find the best moves. I bring the king forward. Now, if I'm low on time, I would not do this. Because king on c1, the opponent might not find the accurate move. I just almost blundered this. You just, perhaps you win this. Perhaps you lose the pawn. But when you are lower rated, you should objectively go for the safest move. I mean, this king has almost no moves. Look at this. I play g4, he just ignores the pawn. And when I go for an attack, he locks it all up, and yeah, okay. He locks it all up, but he's afraid of g6, so he reacted too much. Just go for checkmate, but yeah, you cannot get back and mate it. You have to play maybe, yeah, it's tough to say, it's tough to say. But he wanted to play g6, but this blunders a draw. It blunders a draw. You have to go for see stuff like this. You're down an entire rook and your king cannot move at all. You cannot checkmate with only a queen unless the opponent blunders it. But 1100s are very good at this level. Yes, 6 minutes. You have to go for a draw here, because when I don't go for a draw, I play b4. It does nothing. There is no hope for white here, actually. I cannot go h4, h5, because then the bishop just takes. And you have to go for a draw here. But I don't go for a draw here. I play h4. He brings the rook back to go for mate. And I don't give checks. I don't give checks anymore. I blunder mate. So, if you don't see the win, guys, if you don't see the win, look for a draw. You have to give checks here. You give checks all you want. You give checks here infinitively. You give checks here, and you might win the rook. It's still a draw because the opponent has to force it, but I don't think they want to force a draw here. I don't think they want to force a draw here. What do you? They probably can't see it. But let's look at the game again. The opening was nice, developing pieces, castles, both sides castled early. c5, a good move, because if you take, you activate the bishop, and I played this. It's actually a good idea, because now the bishop was no longer active. I take, knight goes there, but we got into a bad position because black had more pawns in the center, which is why we might have we should have played e3 here, or e4. Put 2 pawns in the center when you can. Takes, and you are doing very well. But this happens. Queen g4. Don't I see this? And sadly, you have to look at your opponent's active moves after a pawn moves. The knight used to guard the bishop, and now it doesn't. Takes. And even then, in this position, you have to still look for ways to neutralize the opponent's move, because this attacks the queen. The best move is to play Desperado and then move the queen back. But I still blunder the bishop. I go for cheese. We exchange pawns. He goes very active. I blunder the bishop. But it was all still hopeless. I went in. I go for the trap. There is bishop g4. But still, he did not play correctly, as he did not take the queen. And I managed to get into a draw after pushing pawns up to his king, and then giving checks, and losing hope after a minute, when I could still check and have a draw. I could still check, find a draw. I have a minute. I will never win this with such low time. And with him being up rook, and I hang checkmate. I have to look for a draw as well. It's not only win and lose. I have to look for a draw. If you like this video, I thank you. If you like this video, thank you. I'm helping you to get higher in chess with concepts. See you next time.